Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon reading vlog. I am so excited. I have a really ambitious TBR for my 24-hour readathon. In videos past, anytime I've tried to do a 24-hour readathon, I have kind of failed. I don't know, I usually only get one, maybe 1.5 books read, but I'm feeling very, very ambitious this weekend. I have a plan, I am excited, I'm motivated, I'm also in a huge reading mood. Like I just want to sit and read for hours and hours. So I feel like I have a pretty good chance of getting most of my TBR done. Fingers crossed, we shall see. But I'm going to be doing this readathon with some of my friends here on BookTube, Cami at Burrows and Books, Lachlan at Locke's Library, and of course Hannah at Hannah's Recent Reads. They will all be linked down below. But the four of us, we're just very excited. There's no real theme to this readathon. I will be reading mostly fantasy romance, of course, because that is what we do on this channel. But let's talk about my TBR. As I said, it's very, very ambitious, but I have the audiobooks for all of these books and I'm feeling very motivated. I want to read all of them. I'm really highly anticipating all of them. So hopefully I will be able to get most, if not all of them read. Okay, so the first book on my TBR for this weekend is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. So this is a YA fantasy romance, and I believe it is like a Robin Hood retelling. I've heard a lot of amazing things about this book. I know that the sequel just came out. I don't know if it was a sequel or like a duology, but I've heard really good things about both books regardless. I want to love this. I have very, very high hopes that I will. And I don't know, I feel like I could get it done pretty quickly. I usually fly through YA fantasies, and I also think I'm really going to enjoy this story. I love the story of Robin Hood. I'm excited to see it in a YA fantasy retelling way. So this book will hopefully be getting read this weekend. The next book on my TBR for this 24-hour readathon is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is my #1 priority for the weekend. This is the book that I'm going to be starting with tomorrow, and I am just so looking forward to this. So this is YA fantasy, romance, gothic, murder mystery, thriller. So many things going on in this book that all sound amazing. And once again, I've heard incredible things about this book. I've seen a lot of buzz about it. It is a beautiful book, both on the dust jacket and on the naked book itself. It also has really cool, kind of creepy end pages. So all of that, plus the plot sounding fantastic, make me very, very excited to read this book. So as I said, I will be starting with this book first thing tomorrow morning. Very, very excited for. High hopes. This is a 5-star prediction. Okay, and then last, my third hopeful for the weekend, the third book on my TBR for this 24-hour readathon reading vlog is House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. This is once again YA fantasy, romance, gothic, murder mystery. So that's apparently the theme this weekend, and I'm excited for it. I put this on my October TBR, and a lot of people said that this is an amazing book. They love it. It's one of their favorites. I also know this is a retelling. I forget of what. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's a retelling of The 12 Dancing Princesses. So I don't know. It sounds good. I'm excited. I think that this is going to be a really, really fun book, and also kind of has some spooky elements, I heard, which is great because it is October and I don't really read spooky books. So these are the books that I am hoping to get read basically all tomorrow. If I am not feeling these when I wake up tomorrow, I do have some graphic novels that I could pick up. I do have a couple other YA fantasies that I am hoping to get read in the month of October, so I could pick one of those up. But I'm telling you, I'm feeling good. I don't know. I've calculated it, and if I listen to my audiobooks for all of these while I read, that is my plan. I'm going to listen to the audiobook while I physically read. But if I do that and I basically don't stop, I could read all of these books in about 13 hours total. So like, it's possible. It is totally possible. The only thing is going to be, I will probably be exhausted. I'll probably need a break from listening to audiobooks. I'll probably need a break from reading in general. So we shall see. But you know what? I'm feeling motivated. I'm gonna get up early tomorrow morning and get started on these. So you kind of just have to be optimistic. I'm a naturally optimistic person. And you know what? I'm applying that here. I'm gonna go for gold, and I'm gonna really try to read all 3 of these books. And if I don't, then you know what? Hey, we tried, and that's all we can do. So that is it for my TBR. I think tomorrow, as I said, I'm gonna wake up maybe around 8 or 9, which really isn't that early, but I'm gonna wake up tomorrow at 8 or 9, start my books, and then I think at some point tomorrow, I think the 4 of us are going to watch The Corpse Bride, which I'm very excited about, another Tim Burton movie. We are on a Tim Burton kick this month, of course. And yeah, I think that'll be the only break that we have, but I'm just like, I am ready. I am excited. I think too, like, we recently got new furniture, redecorated our apartment, all of that, and I now have this kind of like cozy little reading corner in our living room, so I just feel motivated to read. I don't know, I'm excited, and it's gonna be a good time. So I'm really, really excited for tomorrow, and I just wanted to come on here and say hello, get the video started, and let y'all know what my plans are. So that is it. I'm gonna go. I will talk to you all tomorrow once the readathon has officially started. everyone. So it is time for my very first check-in for this 24-hour readathon. I talked to you guys yesterday and I didn't know what time I was going to start the readathon today, but I did start at 9:30 this morning. And I also didn't mention, I'm just doing the traditional 24-hour readathon method, which is I've started my 24-hour readathon at 9:30 a.m. It will end tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. I am definitely not staying up for 24 hours, but I'm going to try to stay up as late as possible tonight to get my TBR done. I am having a really good time so far. The book that I'm reading is so good and like it's going really well. So I feel like I have a very good possibility of getting the books read that I want to. So it's a couple hours into the readathon right now. I am going to have to take a break for a second because we're having some furniture delivered, so I'll need to handle that. But let me talk to you about the first book that I have been reading and how it is going. So I started Belladonna. I don't have the dust jacket right now, but it's Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is the YA fantasy, gothic, romance, murder mystery kind of book that I said I was going to be reading yesterday. This recently came out and it has a lot of buzz. I was very highly anticipating it, but I didn't really know what to expect. I have never read from this author and I was just kind of like, who knows? Who knows what it'll be like? What it will be like is fantastic because I'm telling you, you guys, this feels like a 5-star book. This is so good. Number one, I really like this author's writing style. I was instantly connecting with our main character, Signa. I was instantly drawn into the story. It's very atmospheric. Not only does it have this gothic, whimsical vibe, but there's also this like Regency or Victorian era aspect to it, which I really enjoy. I'm always going to be a fan of that. So incorporating that into the story as well has been great. So this book follows our main character. As I said, her name is Signa. And basically Signa has been followed by Death, who was kind of this personified figure her entire life. And a lot of the people in her life have died and she has always sort of encountered Death, but he has never been able to take her and it's never really been her time. But she's basically the only person I think in this world who can see Death, talk to Death, call to him when she wants to, but she doesn't end up dying. She kind of has this curse almost because a lot of the people in her life die and she just wants to live a normal life. She's like, I just want to be presented to society, find a husband, live a normal life, and just be a normal girl. But because of this association with Death, because of the circumstances in her life, doesn't really seem like that is going to happen. So she ends up having to go and live with kind of, I think it's sort of estranged family. I forget their names, but she has 2 cousins and then her uncle and then her aunt Lillian recently passed away. Once she gets there, she realizes there is definitely some type of ghost haunting the estate, and she does quickly find out that this ghost that is haunting this estate was murdered. So now Signa kind of takes it upon herself to figure out who murdered this person because she wants to prevent anyone else from being murdered as well. So there's this like murder mystery aspect. She is getting help from one of the men who work on the estate. His name is Silas, and then Death is also kind of there helping her as well. And we do sort of have a little bit of a love triangle situation happening, which I was not expecting. I kind of thought that it was just going to be a situation between Death and Signa. I thought that because like on the back of the book there's this image, so obviously. But Silas is also kind of a contender for her heart, which is exciting. But oh my god, I love Death so much. Okay, we cannot see what he looks like, but I just like know he's hot. You know, I know he's a hottie because he is just amazing. Everything he's saying is so good and like he makes her so nervous and he's really supportive of her and helpful and like wants to help her kind of acknowledge who she is and the powers that she potentially has, but she's very afraid of it. But he's very like, why are you denying who you are? And it's just, oh, it's so good. Every single time we get even just like a morsel of them talking, I'm just loving it. I'm loving every single second of it. I've gotten pretty far into this book. So I'm at about page 200, maybe a little bit past actually, because I haven't moved my bookmark from where my audiobook was, but that means that I am about 50% of the way done with this book. And I really think I'm going to finish this in the next few hours after we get like the furniture delivery thing taken care of. But I'm loving this and I honestly feel like I could give this book 5 stars. It's just so good and I'm so excited. I know that the author is going to be doing the cover reveal for the sequel to this book, I think this coming week, which is very exciting. So I'm so happy that this is working out. It's really good. It has really great ambiance and vibes. The writing is good. The murder mystery is interesting and the pace is really nice. So 10 out of 10. I am absolutely loving this book. So that is it for my first update. I am probably going to be reading Defy the Night after this, but I will check in with you guys either when I finish this or right before to kind of give you my thoughts and tell you my final rating and all of that. But I'm absolutely loving this. Really good pick for the first book of my 24-hour readathon because it's really making me motivated and excited to keep reading. So that is that. I am going to go back to being on sprints with the gals, finish this book, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, hi everyone. Time for another check-in. So So, very exciting reading update. I ended up finishing Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I'm so excited because I gave this book 5 stars. This book was fantastic. The writing was absolutely incredible. I was drawn in right away. I loved the characters. I loved Death so much. He's amazing. My king, like, oh my god, I'm so excited. There were a lot of plot twists in this book that really kept me interested and guessing, and I did guess one of the plot twists, but then I had kind of talked myself out of it when I was almost done with the book, but then right before it was revealed, I was like, no, wait, this has to be it, and I was correct with my original guess, so that was exciting, but it didn't deter my enjoyment at all, guessing it ahead of time. I thought it was really well done, and then the murder mystery aspect, I truly didn't know who it was, who done it, so to speak. I was like just along for the ride, and I felt like there were so many people who had reason to be the killer, and so I think that that was really well done. And yeah, absolutely everything worked for me. The romance, the plot, the writing, the ambiance was just fantastic. This is a 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I could see this being one of my best books of the year. I loved everything about it. I am so excited for the sequel. Oh my god, this is such a good YA fantasy romance, you guys. Go pick it up. It has a really well done romance and a really interesting plot, which is all we can ask for. So this is the first book of the 24-hour readathon completed. It is now about 3:30, so I am 6 hours into this 24-hour readathon, and I've finished 1 book, so that is great. So the next book that I'm going to be picking up is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. Very excited for this. I've heard really wonderful things about this book and its sequel. I don't know if it's a sequel or if this is a duology, but I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think it's gonna be so good. I know that there's like royalty and stuff involved in this book, which I always love in fantasy novels, so I am very excited. So I'm going to start this soon, but I do have book mail that I wanted to open with you all. Okay, so this is The Last Daughter by Alexis L. Maynard. I love the cover. It's so beautiful. I am actually going to be reading this for another vlog that I'm working on right now, which is just a fantasy romance reading vlog, like a fantasy romance specific reading vlog. And I've heard a lot of buzz about this book. I heard it's really fantastic, and I think there's witches, and I know it's enemies to lovers, and I know it's also has components of Norse mythology. So I think it's gonna be really good. I'm so excited. I'll be picking this up probably tomorrow night, I think, after I'm done with this 24-hour readathon. And so yeah, look out for that vlog. I will have like an adult fantasy romance specific reading vlog coming soon. So this will be a book that I read for that, and I'm just so excited. Oh, I've just heard really good things. Okay, so I am off to eat lunch, late lunch, early dinner, I don't really know, but I need to eat because I am getting a little bit tired. So I'm gonna get some food in my system, and I'm going to start the audiobook for this while I do that, and I will check in with you all when I am a little bit into this and let you know my thoughts. Hello friends, how are you? It is time for another reading check-in. It is quite a bit later now. I believe it's like 8 p.m. I want to say, so we are, what, like 10 and a half hours-ish into the 24-hour readathon. And gotta be honest, I'm losing steam. I really am. I am feeling super tired, but the show must go on, you know? So I did walk to the store. I thought that like walking and kind of moving my body would give me a little more energy, which it did. I was more tired earlier than I am now, but I walked to the store, got myself a sugar-free Red Bull, and downed that real quick. So I do have a little bit more energy than I did earlier, which is good. I also just watched The Corpse Bride with Cami and Hannah and Lachlan, and that was really fun. And it was a good break for my eyes from staring at a book, but I don't know. The optimism is slowly leaving my body that I am going to be able to read all 3 of these books tonight. It's 8 o'clock right now. I'm definitely not going to bed anytime soon. So the book that I'm currently reading, I will hopefully be able to finish before I go to bed. And then I would love to be able to start my 3rd book, which is House of Salt and Sorrow, maybe get like an hour into it. And then I was contemplating maybe waking up at like 7. And I usually wake up around 8 anyway on the weekends. So like wake up at 7 and try to get this done by 9:30. If I go to 10, nobody will know. Then I could say I had a successful 24-hour readathon. So that's kind of the plan, but I'm just going to keep reading for the next few hours and see how that goes, see how I feel. Maybe I'll get a burst of energy in 3 hours, who can say? But I did want to update you all on the second book of this 24-hour readathon, and that is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. So this is a YA fantasy romance, a little bit of a Robin Hood retelling. Our main character's name is Tessa, and Tessa and her friend Wes basically live in a world where there's a plague going around, and the only thing that helps to cure the plague are these special kind of moon petals, which are on the cover. They're very pretty. So what Tessa and her friend Wes do is they basically, you know, infiltrate the royal family's estate, steal moon petals, and then bring them to the people who need it. They are also dealing with a bit of a rebellion in this kingdom because the moon petals lately haven't been like working as well, and people have a lot of doubts about the kingdom and the monarchy and like, are they actually helping and all of that. So there's a little bit of rebellion going on as well, and Tessa and her friend Wes are kind of caught in the middle of all of that. So that is kind of the plot so far. I'm not really going to go into anything more than that because then it gets into a spoiler land, but I will say I do like the writing style. I like Bridget Kemmerer's writing style. I think it's very simple, straightforward. I got into the story pretty quickly. I was a little bit concerned when I started this book though, because there was something that our main character did not know I felt was glaringly obvious, and I was really concerned. I was like, oh my god, do not tell me that this is what the book is about. Do not tell me that this plot twist is going to be revealed at the end of the book and that is what we are going to be working towards for 440 something pages. It wasn't going to be a good time. But at around page like 100 or 120, something like that, that plot twist gets revealed. So I am looking forward to continuing on and reading this book now. I really, really hope that this book just continues to improve plot-wise as I get deeper into it. I am looking forward to picking this back up here in a few minutes. I am on page 138, and as I said, there's about 440 something pages, so I have about 300 pages left, and I will hopefully finish this book in the next maybe like 3 hours, I think is what my audiobook says. I am listening to the audiobook while I read, which really does help me focus and kind of stay on track, and I'm enjoying the audiobook a lot. It is dual narration, which is always great. As I said, it's around 8 o'clock. I will ideally finish this book maybe around 11. And then I really, really do want to start House of Salt and Sorrow. I don't think I'm going to finish it tonight. Like, I think that is, I don't know. I think that the possibility of that happening is essentially out the window, but I do stay up late, like most nights. I really do. I usually stay up until like 1, sometimes 2 a.m. on the weekends. So I'm like, can I do it? Can I push through? I will definitely try to start it tonight. That's my goal. Well, really my goal is to finish this and then maybe read like 100 pages of this. I don't know. We shall see. I am going to continue on with reading Defy the Night. I will check in with you all at some point. I definitely want to check in with you guys before I go to bed. So I will make sure to do that either when I finish this book, or if like I can't stay up and can't keep reading, I'll just let you know where I'm at once I finish this book. But hopefully, fingers crossed, y'all, that the next time you see me, I will have completed a book. Okay, hi friends, it's time for my final check-in of the night. It's 11:51 p.m. right now, so it's about midnight, and I finished Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. So just a little bit more about what happened since I last talked to y'all. Honestly, I like barely remember what I said in my last check-in. I'm so tired right now. Our main character Tessa kind of does the Robin Hood thing where she will kind of steal moon petals and bring them to the people who need them. So overall, this book was like fine. I don't think it's bad or anything. I just don't really think it works for me. The biggest thing was this was an extremely like political forward book. I like politics in a fantasy novel if I feel like the other components are really strong. Like I feel like if the fantasy elements and the world building and the character development is really, really strong, then I love a good like political moment. But I don't feel like those things were done in a way that worked for me. and I just feel like we were constantly just talking about the politics of the kingdom and what it means to give these people moon petals versus this, and you know, how we're dispersing them and what that means for the monarchy. And you know, it was just so much about the politics, and I just like wasn't really into it. And truthfully, the characters in this book are fine, but I'm not like obsessed with anyone. I don't feel like they were very unique characters. I don't feel like they weren't characters that I could really root for. I don't dislike them, but I don't love them. Like, I don't really feel like I know them very well. They could be any character, and so that did not help. And I will also say the romance aspect, I think, was pretty lackluster. I feel like from page 1, the romance is very obvious, and I don't really feel like there's a lot of development there. I didn't feel any tension between the characters at all. I kind of just fell into the situation pretty quickly, which is fine, but it's just, I would have liked for us to get more backstory, more kind of progression, more slow burn than what we got. It was just kind of like, okay, we're here, and then the romance is happening and whatever. So it just wasn't very like gratifying in that way. And also the fantasy elements, there weren't really any fantasy elements other than the fact that, of course, like moon petals are what cures this plague, and like, okay, but there's no other fantasy element besides that. So there's no like magic system at all. And I guess I was kind of expecting that more, and that's probably on me. So I would just say, like, don't expect like a very fantastical plot. It's really just more like political with a bit of romance. So I don't think this book is bad, but it's just not going to be a favorite of mine. It's a 3-star. I don't know if I'm going to read the second book. I think it's called Defend the Dawn. It's such a beautiful cover, and so is this, and I was really hoping that I would love it because I wanted to pick up the second book. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe I'll sit with this for a little bit and see how I feel, and maybe, I don't know, a few months down the road I'll want to pick up the second book. So it's gonna be a 3-star for me. It's not a bad book by any means. I just feel like all of the concepts were very half-baked, other than the political parts, which were just like very in your face, which is just not really my type of read. So that is Defy the Night. As I said, it's about midnight. I probably want to go to bed, I'm thinking, but I think I'm going to take a bubble bath right now, just because I've been like sitting and like hunched over all day and my body really hurts. So I kind of want to like soak a little bit. I am contemplating starting House of Salt and Sorrow tonight, just like before bed. Even if I just read like 20 pages, I might do that actually. I was just gonna go to bed immediately, but I'm kind of like, well, maybe if I just take a break and take a bath and see how I feel after, I might actually start that book. And then my plan is to wake up tomorrow. I will probably wake up around like 7 or 7:30, and I'll just read House of Salt and Sorrow. And whenever I finish it is when I'm gonna end the readathon. So it might not be exactly a 24-hour readathon, but it'll be close because I really do think I'll finish it by like 11 at the latest. But I had a great day. I'm so excited about Belladonna. That book was amazing. Defy the Night was like fine. I had a really good time hanging out with the besties, and overall it was a really, really great day. This is probably my most successful 24-hour readathon that I've ever done. I feel like normally I get like a book and a half done. So I'm really happy with the way that today went. So I probably will talk to you guys tomorrow morning when I have started House of Salt and Sorrow. I'll give you my thoughts, and hopefully I'll be able to finish that, and hopefully it's a 5-star. That is the plan. I'm gonna go take a bath, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hi everyone. Okay, so it is time for another reading check-in. It is officially past the 24-hour readathon mark. It's about almost noon now, but I am going to be extending it a little bit, but still calling this a 24-hour readathon because, you know, if we just take away the hours that I slept, this truly still is a 24-hour readathon, so let's go with that. So last night, I did start House of Salt and Sorrow. I literally only read like 20 pages. And then today, while I have been cleaning, I've been listening to the audiobook. I'm on page 115, and I have thoughts. don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts and also no thoughts. I am kind of conflicted about how I feel about this book. So if you don't know, House of Salt and Sorrows, it is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. Our main character's name is Annalie. She is one of 12 sisters. She lives on this island with her family, and 4 of her sisters have died kind of in mysterious ways, and each of the deaths kind of keep getting more tragic, I would say. And we open the book with her 4th sister passing away, and basically people where they live start to think that this family is cursed, and a lot of the girls in this family want to like find husbands and, you know, kind of move on with their lives and everything, but because of this alleged curse surrounding them, they're finding that hard to do. And also, one of the youngest siblings in this family says that she is seeing the ghosts of her sisters in their house. Everyone doesn't believe her because they're like, oh, you're so young, whatever, but then Annalie starts to see her sister's ghosts. So that freaks her out, obviously, as it would. And she also starts to think that maybe the circumstances surrounding her sister's deaths are a little bit more sinister. Maybe they were murder. A lot of them have been ruled as accidents, but she is starting to think that something more is at play. This book has very gothic vibes and very like nautical vibes. I know that sounds weird, but like the vibes are cool. It's very oceany, nautical, gothic situation happening. Hopefully that makes sense. And so I'm liking that aspect. I think the writing is very, very good. I am just finding myself kind of bored reading this, to be honest with you, and I'm very disappointed to say that. It's one of those things where I can tell that this is a good book. I can tell that this is a well-written book. I can tell, you know, it's good. I am just not connecting for whatever reason. I think sometimes that just happens where I'm not mad at anything in this book. I'm not like sitting here saying this is bad. I just don't think it's for me. I don't know. I'm just kind of bored, you guys. I really am. I don't know. I'm just not connecting. I am not enthralled. I am not enticed at all at the moment. So I do want to say though, that could change. I'm on page 115. This book is like 375 pages, so I have a lot of book left. A lot can happen, but as of right now, this book is just like fine. I am going to be reading this book for the rest of the day, and I will finish it today and then probably end up filming a check-in tomorrow. We have some family coming to town today, so I'm going to be spending time with them. I think we're going to go out on a boat. It's going to be 80 degrees today, which 80 degrees in Seattle on whatever day, I think today's like October 16th. That's crazy. I think next week it like drops down to like 51 being the high. So this is truly like our last day of summer. So we are going to go out on a boat and get dinner. And tonight I'll probably come back and edit this vlog and then read and finish this, film my final clip tomorrow, and then I'll hopefully have this up on Tuesday. But yeah, this is like fine. I'm hopeful that maybe tonight I can sort of relax and, you know, put a candle on, put some ambiance on, all of that, sit and read this book and hopefully kind of get into it more and get more excited by it. Just as of right now, it's not really doing anything for me. So that is the update for House of Salt and Sorrows. So I'll probably talk to you guys tomorrow, give you my final thoughts, and close out the vlog. Hello besties. So it is time to close out this vlog because I have finished House of Salt and Sorrow. So after we talked yesterday, I kind of kept cleaning the house and I finished this audiobook. And oh God, it pains me to do this, but I just did not really like this book. You know, in the beginning, ambiance was cool, I was interested, but as the story kept going on, I found the pacing to be pretty slow. I think our main character, Annalie, was just not, she wasn't characterized very well. I found her to be bland and boring. I wasn't invested in her at all. And her POV was just not something that I enjoyed, really. And just the story overall was like very meh, I would say. And it genuinely pains me to say that because I was so excited for this book. I seriously thought that this was gonna be a 4 or a 5 star, but this just did not work for me. It's really unfortunate because, yeah, I mean, I know I keep saying it, but I wanted to love this book so much. But, you know, the plot kept going on. Annalie, you know, obviously trying to uncover if there is a murder happening or kind of what's going on with the family and all of that. And there's kind of these spooky ghost situations happening. It just didn't excite me enough to stay invested, unfortunately. So I have decided, I hate to say it, I really do, I am giving this book 2 stars, which sucks. But, you know, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this book. I feel like it's pretty polarizing. I see people giving it 4 and 5 stars and loving it, and then I saw people giving it 1 and 2 stars and having pretty similar sentiments as I did, because I was wondering, am I the only person who does not like this book? Because I feel like I've seen so many positive things, but I did see some people kind of complain it was a little bit boring for them as well, so it did make me feel a little bit better because I thought I was like the only person on earth who did not like this book. But I don't know, it didn't work for me. So let's do a quick roundup of the 3 books books that I read during this 24-hour-ish reading vlog. So I read Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Gorgeous, perfect, amazing. Probably gonna be in my best books of the year. And today, the author Adeline Grace dropped the cover reveal for Foxglove, which is the sequel. It is beautiful. She also said that the sequel will be coming out on August 23rd of next year, which feels so far away. So I'm definitely going to be highly anticipating that book, and I'm so happy I read this. It was a great way to start off the 24-hour readathon, and truly just like such a good book, such a good book. And then I read Defy the Night, and I gave this book 3 stars, just very heavy on the political side of things, but I did enjoy the writing style. I don't know if I am going to pick up the sequel. As I said, I've been thinking about it, and I just don't really know. If you've read, I think it's Defend the Dawn, what did you think of it? How did it compare to the first book? Do you feel like it's worth it for me to continue, or do you think I'm just not gonna like it because I wasn't obsessed with this? I do like this book, but I feel like the politics were heavy-handed and not so much the fantasy or romance aspect. So that is kind of my feelings on that, but not a bad book, just not one of my favorites of all time. And then House of Salt and Sorrows, unfortunately, is getting a 2-star rating from me. I didn't really like this book, you guys, and I think it's just as simple as that. And I can understand someone liking it though. I really can. Like, I do think that there are some elements that I can definitely give you that, like, yes, this is atmospheric. Yes, the mystery can be interesting. I just found it boring. I just didn't really like Anna Lee as a main character. I just didn't really feel like it was a very cohesive story. So that is that. That is it for my 24-hour readathon reading vlog. I had a great time. I love doing 24-hour readathons, and I'm really happy that I was able to complete 3 books during this vlog. If you have made it to this point in the video, go ahead and leave the clock emoji. 1, because it's a 24-hour readathon. We really focused on time in this video. And number 2, because this Friday, October 21st, Taylor Allison Swift is dropping Midnights, and it's really all that I can think about. So go ahead and leave the clock emoji if you would like. As always, my Instagram and my Goodreads are linked down below. You are welcome to follow me on there at any time. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you are having a fantastic day, and I will catch you all in the next one.